The video opens with an electric jolt, a cold shock that drops the viewer straight into the heart of the controversy. A suspended police chief, a dead witness known only as Witness D, and a country trying to piece together the truth while the one man at the center of the storm, Brigadier Mkhwanazi, remains completely silent. That silence becomes the first mystery. A powerful fact rises to the surface, something that makes viewers stop breathing for a moment. The timing of the witness's death and the chief's suspension align in a way that seems almost too uncanny. The atmosphere is tense, gripping, and immediate, as if the air itself is holding back something unsaid. From that tension, the tease unfolds. The audience is invited into a deeper investigation, promised an exploration of what is confirmed, what is suspected, what is wild speculation, and what is politically manufactured noise. A subtle hint suggests that buried beneath the noise is a twist that most viewers have not yet considered. A revelation so strange and unexpected that it may shift the entire conversation about this case. This tease acts like a soft but deliberate pull, guiding viewers into the narrative with the promise that by the end, they will understand the forces at play in a way the public currently does not. Before the main body begins, the engagement spark arrives like a quick blade, an intimate question dropped into the viewer's mind. When a leader stays silent during a national storm, does that silence shield them from danger, or does it expose something they cannot say aloud? It feels personal, as if the question is meant for each viewer individually, challenging their assumptions and pushing them to confront their own instincts about power and silence. The viewer is encouraged to reflect, to respond mentally, and to commit emotionally to what comes next. The story moves into its core. It begins by examining the eerie stillness surrounding Brigadier Mkhwanazi, dissecting how his sudden withdrawal from public view coincided precisely with the wave of online accusations linking him to Witness D's death. The narrative deepens into the unusual timing of events, exploring how his suspension and the witness's demise became intertwined in the public imagination, even though no official statement confirmed such a link. The viewer is pushed to imagine the city awakening on that morning, a trending hashtag exploding across the digital landscape, a man of significant authority suddenly vanishing from the public stage, and the question on everyone's lips, what does he know? The examination shifts into a reflection on how South Africans respond when institutions waver in transparency. A storyteller-like voice recalls moments when silence from those in power created far more chaos than clarity, drawing parallels to past scandals where the lack of communication turned questions into suspicions. That emotional thread leads into the idea that silence itself becomes a narrative, one that the public fills with their own theories, fears, and expectations. Whether justified or not, silence becomes an active force. The investigation broadens with philosophical tension, asking whether society fears corruption more deeply than it fears hidden truths. The narrative picks apart the dual anxieties that shape public discourse. On one hand, the dread that officials may abuse power. On the other, the fear that critical information is being suffocated behind closed doors. This sets the stage for an analysis of how unverified stories frequently outpace official statements, and how in emergencies, the absence of information becomes a vacuum that misinformation eagerly fills. The script reconstructs the final known hours of Witness D, not with sensationalism but with clarity and gravity. It explores what investigators actually confirmed, how the witness's disappearance was first reported, and why the timeline became a source of national debate. Then it shifts again into the power of social media, telling the story of an ordinary citizen whose emotional post, written late at night, unexpectedly went viral and magnified the controversy. This becomes the perfect place for the mid-video call to action, seamlessly woven into the investigation. Viewers are invited to stay with the channel, not as spectators but as participants following the unfolding truth. The second half of the narrative dives deeper into the institutional consequences of silence. It unpacks how misinformation becomes a weapon when leadership hesitates to address public fears. Then it explores the delicate balance between public opinion and official investigations, asking whether one distorts or accelerates the other. The script examines how other suspended officials in South Africa have reacted when faced with similar storms, drawing attention to the unusual decision by Mkhwanazi to retreat entirely rather than defend himself or call for transparency. From here, the viewer is guided into the tense atmosphere inside EMPD headquarters. Voices hushed, meetings stretching late into the night, an organization caught between reputational fear and procedural duty. A journalist's account helps paint this atmosphere vividly, showing not only the political discomfort, but also the human anxiety simmering among officers who know the public eye is watching them more closely than ever. The narrative then urges viewers to consider why it is crucial to separate online noise from factual truth, especially in moments when emotions are high and clarity is scarce. But just when it seems the story could be winding down, the second wind blocks push the investigation into even more intriguing territory. A new question arises. What if Mkhwanazi's silence is not fear, guilt, or evasion, but strategy?